Hey everybody, this is Maddie with AltCoin Buzz. Hope you're having a fine Saturday and a terrific start to your weekend. You've earned it, ladies and gentlemen of the AltCoin Buzz Army. We're taking a look today at a whole bunch of little stories and actually some not so little stories from around the world. We have some tangible developments in the form of legislation and bills that have been passed in Malta. We're going to take a look at that. South Korea has also officially recognized the way that crypto exchanges are going to operate. There's some changes that are made there. I believe that it's encouraging. I believe that they're moving in a positive direction. We have news out of Gemini, run by the Winklevoss twins, and the fact that they've been poaching top talent from the New York Stock Exchange, so that's encouraging. Facebook has also hired a new director of engineering for blockchain. So that announcement is definitely turning a few heads. We've got all kinds of different news and analysis to take a look at what the market has been doing, why it's been succeeding, and, for the most part, been pretty healthy in the last week. We're hoping that it's more than just a dead cat bounce, and there's some reasons as to why. We have news and developments out of SafeX, and we have news and developments out of Ethos and their universal wallet. But we're beginning, as always, on altcoinbuzz.io with this article by Licia, who talks about Binance and their expectation to hit $1 billion of profit in 2018. Yes, $1 billion. So, Changpeng Zhao, otherwise known as CZ, CEO of the largest cryptocurrency exchange platform, Binance, stated his company expects a net profit ranging from $500 million to $1 billion by the end of 2018. Now, Binance has really only been around for a year, but they already have 10 million users and a daily turnover of roughly $1.5 billion, Bloomberg reports. So back when Binance had only 8 million users, only 8 million, right? I was using the statistic, and I was saying quite liberally that, hey, they've quadrupled their user base since the beginning of 2018. I now have to update that because they've quintupled their user base since the beginning of 2018 in what I've always said have been the most suboptimal negative market conditions imaginable. You've had a retracement from 850 billion total market cap all the way down to about, 240 billion at the low point since January. Despite that, they have quintupled their user base. So hats off to what they're doing, to their response in the face of API key hacks and other security issues. They've been very responsive. They've been very responsible as well. So Zhao went on to reveal that during the first half revenue this year, his platform made close to $300 million net profit. Bloomberg has rightly noted that Zhao's figures illustrate how some cryptocurrency exchanges are thriving despite a rout in digital assets that's seen Bitcoin lose 52% of its value this year as buyers pull back, venues are repeatedly hacked, and regulators increase their scrutiny. Exactly right. So in the face of all that, in the face of some of the FUD, whether or not it was warranted, some of the FUD was a little bit more reasonable and some was just propaganda. But despite that, CZ and Binance have really done a great job. So you'll remember there have been stories about BitThumb, there have been stories about BitGrail and CoinCheck and all kinds of different problems that have happened. Despite that, Binance has done a lot of positive things, including adding fiat support, which is an article you may remember, something that we covered. Its success story is undoubtedly striking. To remind, at the beginning of the year, it had only 2 million users, which means its client base has seen a 5-fold increase. Zhao started his business back in only of July of 2017. Unbelievable. Currently, it's the largest exchange present on the market and is more profitable than the biggest bank in Germany. So unbelievable to see that really Binance is just over or about a year old. We're in July 2018, so about a year old. And can you imagine, guys, can you imagine what they would do if conditions were more prosperous, what they would do in a healthy, growing market? It's hard to fathom. This is an interesting article you may remember from late April by Daniel. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance is more profitable than the biggest bank in Germany. Looking at the results, quarterly results of Deutsche Bank as compared to Binance. Of course, if you want to check out the original publication here on Bloomberg, we're going to link to this in the description. World's largest crypto exchange eyes $1 billion in profit amid rout. So we'd love to hear your comments on this, guys. Love to hear your perspective. Are you a Binance user? I am, and I've never really had a problem with them, to be honest. I think they're quick and responsive and responsible in the way they go about business. I love the convenience of it. It's a great service. What can I say? Here, interesting segue. Binance, which had run-ins with authorities in Japan and Hong Kong, plans to soon allow customers in venues in Uganda, Bermuda, and Malta to convert their virtual tokens to fiat currencies, including the euro, as it looks to build up its rapid growth. So we talked about that fiat support, but you'll remember this whole story about Binance moving to more permissive and convenient markets. So what's listed here is Malta for that exact reason. And there's been a lot of developments in Malta that are also noteworthy in today's news. So here on Forbes, Maltese parliament passes law that set regulatory framework for blockchain, cryptocurrency, and DLT, distributed ledger technology. So some pretty good developments here. July 4th, 2018 marks a historical day for Malta as the Maltese parliament has officially passed 3 bills into law, establishing the first regulatory framework for blockchain, cryptocurrency, and distributed ledger technology. This makes Malta the first country in the world to provide an official set of regulations for operators in the blockchain, cryptocurrency, and DLT space. Quote, I think that blockchain technology, DLT, and cryptocurrency is where innovation is happening right now. And we are very glad that Malta can offer the first jurisdiction in the world to regulate this sector. We are excited about what this will lead to in the future. And that quote is by none other than Joseph Muscat, Malta's Prime Minister. Can you imagine? That is that's anti-FUD right there. Positively polarizing, positively encouraging piece of news. And the fact that it came from their Prime Minister is sensational. We've talked about this before, guys. We've looked at Malta. We've looked at some of these crypto havens of the world. I think if they can further solidify that approach and that attitude that they have towards crypto with legislative laws and regulatory frameworks, that's a good thing going forward. So perhaps you're Maltese, perhaps you're benefiting rather from the Maltese regulation. Let us know what you think about that particular news story in the comments below. In other international news, South Korea is officially recognizing crypto exchanges as regulated banks. So for the first time in history, the government of South Korea has officially recognized crypto exchanges, regulated financial institutions, and banks. Local publications in South Korea have reported that the financial authorities of South Korea have finalized their plans to categorize crypto exchanges as an industry called cryptocurrency exchange and brokerage to enable trading platforms to perform at a large capacity with support from local authorities. Yeah, fantastic. So for many years, the government of South Korea has considered regulating the cryptocurrency sector with practical regulations and policies, primarily to prevent large-scale hacking attacks and security breaches. And unfortunately, we have seen some of those befall the exchanges, certain exchanges at least, in South Korea, unfortunately. However, local financial authorities feared that regulating the cryptocurrency market would lead the public to believe that the government has legitimized the cryptocurrency sector, which is something they didn't want to do. Consequently, South Korea postponed the regulation of cryptocurrency exchanges. This week, however, local publications revealed that the government of South Korea has come to a consensus to recognize crypto exchanges as regulated financial businesses, creating a new industry dedicated to cryptocurrency trading platforms. So, in the short term, we're not sure exactly what it's going to produce. It may have a negative impact, in fact, in the opinion of this author, because it's going to lead to stricter know your customers, KYC, and anti-money laundering verification policies. Yes, that may be true. But however, in the long run, as written here, local analysts have stated that the decision of the government to legitimize the cryptocurrency sector will lead to large-scale institutional investors and retail traders entering the crypto market, allowing digital assets to be considered as an emerging asset class. And the author goes on to further suggest that this may result in the consolidation of some of the larger crypto exchanges. So in other words, some of the larger ones will see a boost from this particular legislation, and maybe some of the smaller ones may disappear, which means that maybe some of the, I'm not suggesting that the smaller exchanges are illegitimate, but if you'll remember that some of these platforms only required a $20 license to operate. So for those that are playing the game and they want to continue playing the game by the rules, they have a certain install base, they have a certain critical mass, I think it's going to be a good thing for them in the long term going forward. If it means that some of the smaller ones are going to be pruned away, I mean, that's the nature of the game. I think the same goes for crypto projects as well. But let us know what you think about this, guys. So South Korea is officially recognizing crypto exchanges as regulated banks. I think that's good news. And in other good news today, we're just going to run through this quickly, but the Winklevoss twins have poached top talent from Wall Street. So Winklevoss Cryptocurrency Exchange, NABs, New York Stock Exchange's tech chief Robert Cornish will join Gemini later this month as its first chief technology officer. So Gemini Trust, the company, the cryptocurrency exchange founded by brothers Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, named New York Stock Exchange's top technology executive to be its first chief technology officer. Another sign the Wild West digital currency sector is moving more mainstream. So this is a top talent, guys, out of Wall Street. And the fact that, he's moving into the Gemini exchange and this is being done fairly quickly, I think it's a sign of the times to a certain extent, because as written here, a wave of Wall Street executives have jumped to digital currency startups this year, giving the sector, once considered a fringe movement, added legitimacy. Former Goldman Sachs executive Richard Kim became the chief operating officer of Mike Novogratz Galaxy Digital, CNBC reported earlier this year, and Michael Buchella left Goldman for Block Tower Capital, a crypto firm founded by former Goldman vice president Matt Gaetz. At Gemini, Cornish, quote, will ensure that Gemini continues to deliver the best platform experience to our users as possible and set the standards of excellence for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, Tyler Winklevoss, Gemini's CEO, said in a statement. This seems like it's good news as far as setting a precedent. It's not the first time it happens, but to have top talent like that poached from the New York Stock Exchange and Wall Street, it's going to be turning more and more heads. More and more people are going to be taking note. We've covered this in the past, guys. And again, as this institutional interest continues to express itself in the cryptocurrency space, I am of the opinion that we're going to see more and more of this. And in similar news, not exactly a poaching, but Facebook has a new director of engineering for blockchain, which is not a position you'd expect to see out of Facebook. But Facebook appears to be getting more serious about blockchain, having recently named an engineering director dedicated to the technology. The social media giant has appointed one of its senior engineers, Evan Cheng, as its first director of engineering blockchain. The new position was first reported by TechCrunch and confirmed by Facebook on Thursday. So pretty interesting, because according to Cheng's profile on LinkedIn, he served as director of engineering for programming languages and runtimes at Facebook for almost 3 years prior to his new focus on blockchain, and that followed a 10-year stint at Apple. So I think what's interesting about this is just the fact that it's an indication of where Facebook is moving, where it's trying to set its priorities going forward. Don't forget, you've had these comments by Mark Zuckerberg about focusing on blockchain in 2018. You've just had the reversal of that ad ban. There's some other interesting stuff as well, because as Coinbase reported in May, the company launched a team specifically to explore this emerging technology, blockchain. Facebook's longtime head of its messenger platform, David Marcus, was tasked with leading the team. Marcus, who is also a member of Coinbase's board of directors, was previously president of payments firm PayPal. So there was some speculation, and again, it's totally unsubstantiated. I'm not suggesting that anything further has been decided with anything, concrete terms, but there was this speculation that Facebook would be interested in purchasing Coinbase outright. And because they do have those terms, those relationships, business relationships with the Coinbase board of directors via Marcus that way, I don't know. Again, it's all speculation, but what is clear is that Facebook is increasingly showing interest in this space. Whether or not they're going to, make an acquisition or launch their own ICO, who is to say? But it's very clear that they're investing in terms of their staff, in terms of their personnel, in terms of their technological investments. They're making a concerted effort to prioritize blockchain. You can read more about that here on TechCrunch. We're going to make that available. Very interesting development. The fact that Facebook would even offer that kind of position, I think they're showing their cards one way or the other, and they're strategizing for the future. In other news, guys, on Bitcoin.com, we're not going to go through this per se, but if you're interested in technical analysis, taking a look here, markets update, cryptocurrency prices rebound during the first week of July. So we've had a pretty favorable July so far, let's be honest. There's been all kinds of movements led by Bitcoin, led by some big purchases, no doubt. So if you want to take a look at this and the technical details of why that may be the case, what's happening, are we seeing a maturation, at least a little bit, or the beginnings of it in terms of all of this institutional interest that we keep talking about, take a look at this article, take a look at the technical aspects of it and some of the analysis. The suggestion here is that perhaps, and hopefully it's more than just a dead cat bounce, we're seeing a little bit more, and hopefully the momentum can sustain itself. But if you're into some of the more technical analysis, This is a good one here on bitcoin.com. We'll link to that in the description, and we encourage you guys to check that out. A short update here by SafeX on their Twitter. So a brief announcement. The SafeX blockchain is now live testing. Source code is now published on GitHub, and the team is geared up for mining the testnet. Are you ready? So a lot of SafeX fans out there, no doubt, in the altcoin buzz army. Let us know what you think about this one. That's a pretty big announcement. These guys don't really send out announcements without proper cause, and they're a little bit sparing in terms of their major announcements. So that's a big one. And if you want to check out SafeX further, check out their website as well. It's a great project, guys. We encourage you guys to check it out and inform yourself more about this particular testnet development. Seems to be some pretty good news. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about SafeX. It's a great project, guys. We do encourage you guys to check them out. In other news, I cannot keep up with Ethos and their global universal wallet rollout. So I touched on the particular updates that were available on July 4th. And just a few hours later, they announced, in sync with the American July 4th Independence Day holiday, the fact that they, yes, were launching in the US. So I discussed the fact that the wallet had been rolled out in the Netherlands and in Germany. Since that time, so just a few days ago, they have rolled out their universal wallet in the US, in Australia, in Canada, and most recently in Singapore. So a special shout out goes to our Ethos home team in Singapore. The universal wallet wouldn't be here without you. So Ethos fam, who do you think is the next on our global rollout? And at this point, it's anybody's guess because they've bounced around all over. I haven't been able to figure out the rule as far as where they've been announcing and why, other than July 4th. I think that was a nice touch for our American friends and listeners. What do you guys think is going to be the next country on the rollout of the universal wallet? Are you excited about Ethos and this project and their universal wallet? Check out their website. Let us know what you think, guys, in the comments section. But we're going to be keeping on top of this, and we'll give you an update in a few days. I'm sure there's going to be a few more countries added at that time. What better way to keep up with those kinds of developments, guys, than to follow Altcoin Buzz News on Twitter? We're going to keep you alerted to the major stories and the latest developments in the crypto space. We were not able to get to this one, but an important story here. Check it out on altcoinbuzz.io. Uzbekistan plans to adopt blockchain at the national level. So there's been a lot of positive news. We haven't even had a chance to cover all of it, guys, but do be sure you're following. If you like this video, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a like on YouTube, and make sure you're subscribed and notified to receive notifications about new videos. Check out our latest podcast. We've got some new material as far as that goes, and it's going to keep coming. So we're going to see you guys soon again in another video. Until then, I wish you happy investing. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.